This is Justice William Brennan, and he wrote the majority opinion for a case called Plyler v. Doe, which was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1982. This case had to do with a law that Texas had passed regarding its education laws. Here's what happened. In Texas, they were having some problems with their public education system, and they felt that if they were able to figure out how to save money or generate income, that perhaps these educational issues would be able to be taken care of. So they had passed a law that said that the state would withhold any money from local school districts for educating any children of migrants who were there undocumented. So any school that had undocumented children would not be able to receive funding to cover those children. All the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court it went, and the question became, was this a violation of equal protection rights for these children that were denied access to education? The U.S. Supreme Court came in and said, wow, first of all, the state's argument that these children are actually not people for purposes of the United States Constitution is incorrect. They may be undocumented, but they are still human and they are still children for purposes of the Constitution. And therefore, the Equal Protection Clause does cover them. This particular law had to show a higher level of benefit to the state of Texas than what the state was offering here. The state was saying there were some costs that were involved and those costs would be recoverable. The U.S. Supreme Court was not impressed by this argument, and they said that the amount of money the state would gain back was so small in comparison to the damage done to these children, the lifelong damage of being denied access to an education, that it did not meet the government's burden at all, and therefore the law was deemed unconstitutional. This case was very controversial. It was a 5-4 decision, but it set out the standard that we use today that led to the passage of multiple pieces of legislation through Congress and through the Department of Education, where now we know that even undocumented migrant children or immigrant youth still may have access to public education, and that these youths, these immigrant children, are also people when it comes to consideration under the U.S. Constitution. So there you have it, a very controversial case out of Texas, Plyler v. Doe.